Hey, what's up out there, online community? And thanks for stopping by and checking out another segment of Straight No Chaser, where we talk sports and culture for fans, oftentimes with the fans. Now, tonight I've got a guest that I've been trying to get on my show for quite some time now. Shout out to Big Francois Wright for making a connection, making it happen. I'm very excited to talk basketball with former NBA player, Big Three star, Chicago basketball icon, Paul McPherson. Shout out to Paul McPherson for joining the show.
Sir, my brother, appreciate the platform, man. Appreciate the love and support, man.
Man, no doubt, no doubt. Now, this is a conversation that a lot of people have been waiting for. I had a lot of questions that have been forwarded to me. We're going to have some people tuning in that are going to be asking, different questions. They might even give you a little ribbon, but it's always love in the shot. It's always love for the shot. And, we've got guys that are tuning in from all across the country. So before we get into it, we're going to do as we always do, as customary. We're going to raise our glasses. And before we get into it, we're about to get into it straight up chasing. Salute.
Salute. Cheers, brother.
Yes. So you talk a little bit about, some of the guys, playing in the Red South and some of the schools. Did you have a rival coming up in the high school ranks? And with that individual rivalry, kind of what was that feel like? Because I tell people all the time, there's nothing like the Chicago Public League. I've never played the Public League, but I've talked to guys, I've been to games, and it's a whole different animal. What was that like playing in the Public League? And did you have a rival?
Oh my God, I definitely had rivals. My rivals changed almost every year. The first initial rival I had in basketball period was a guy named Brian Notary, played at Simeon, the University of Illinois. He left, transferred, and went to UIC, University of Illinois at Chicago. He was about my same height, 6'2", 6'3", could jump out the gym. I was a sophomore, he was a senior, so I got matched up with him early, and he was super athletic. So I knew that I had a lot of growth to do in my game when I first played him. And the second time I played him, I got a little bit better. I got a little more confidence. So, going to my junior year, I felt like, hey, if I can compete against Notre, I can compete against anybody. Going to my junior year, it was Ronnie Fields. It was chasing Ronnie Fields. Ronnie Fields was the best junior. I was so far down on the totem pole. I told myself by the time I'm a senior, everybody in the city gonna know me. By the time my senior year came, I was still chasing Ronnie. At this time, Quentin Richardson was on the rise. He was a sophomore. Corey Maggette was a sophomore, and Bobby Simmons was sophomore. So I had, anytime I looked up, it was always another player coming that was elite. So I could just pick and choose, go through the Red South and pick and choose, like anybody you wanted to play or anybody you wanted to chase or anybody you wanted to compete with. So I just thank God that I came up in the era I came up in. It was to me the last of real basketball. I mean, everybody supports that era and when they came, but
Yeah.
to me, the mid '90s was the last of it. You know what I'm saying? Like, man, physical. It was trash talking. It was, if you won some games, you might have to fight to leave. You know what I'm saying? Like, kids ain't going through that no more. Like, kids getting on the bus and they straight and they safe. Like, could you imagine having to fight after winning the game at Harlan or
Oh yeah.
at Finger? And Finger might got 10 people in the crowd and they school in last place. And because we beating them, we got to fight, leaving the wild hundreds. And we all from the South Side, 75th. So, man, a lot of things that happened, in Chicago and during that era and just playing basketball in that era helped mold me. But I definitely had rivals, and just thinking off the top of my head, Brian Notary, Ronnie Fields, and Quentin Richardson would be three that just came to name off the top of my head.
So staying on that high school track, you talked about having some tough rivals, and those are definitely some household names. People that they can relate to and say, "Wow, you know what? You got the best of them, or you held your own against those guys. Man, this guy's here to stay." Out of that group, who's probably your toughest matchup?
Oh,
Don't worry, it's just me and you. Nobody else nobody else watching, and nobody sharing the video.
at the time, in high school, and when we was always in high school, so considering Quentin and Corey Maggette was sophomores, I would say Ronnie Fields was my toughest matchup because he had he was ultra talented. Like, he was like Jordan, bro. Like anybody who didn't see him, you had to see him to see him. And at the same time, he had a huge machine behind him. Like, Nike knew him. He was the top player. He was going to Nike. Everybody who followed Garnett knew Ronnie was coming next. So he kind of had a head start on the limelight. and it was just tough. Like athletically, we was always the same from the first time I ever met him. But to me, in my opinion, in high school, Ronnie was more polished than me. Like I was rough around the edges. Ronnie was a better shooter. I probably defended and rebounded better, but to me, in my opinion, Ronnie was a notch above me, not just talent wise, just the polishing and the system he was in, the coaches, the AAU experience, everything that he had. So for me, my biggest rivalry was Ronnie. Like, man, I was chasing him, man. I had to play against him. I had to prove to him that I could compete with him, and I just wanted to be just as good, if not better. So, for me, that was one of the guys who I chased. I had to chase his ghost.